Today I'm going to show you how to make a claw set pendant with an under bezel. It's a very simple technique that you can use for any size or shape stone, and as you can see you could apply a texture to the under bezel for effect. You can also use this type of setting on a ring. If you want to watch the full video for free, go to the website and check out the free courses where you'll find lots of free videos. For this project I'm using a citrine stone. It's a cushion cut and it's 8mm by 10mm. You can use any size stone you like and any shape. Once you learn this technique you'll see how easy it is. So I'm using for the setting a piece of sheet, sterling silver sheet. This is 1.2mm thick. I wouldn't use anything thinner than 1.2. You can go a little bit thicker if you like. So first thing to do is to just work out where to place your stone to be as economical as possible with the metal. Now I'm going to have around about a 2mm border around the stone. You can go a little bit thinner, a little bit wider as well, but I don't want the setting to totally dominate this because it is such a pretty stone. So I'll just use this end here, and what I need for the bale is around about 15mm length, because I'm going to cut the bale in and that saves on the solder joint and we can get a nice shape out of the bale as well. You can be quite creative with this. So that gives me my approximate 2mm border, and this gives me around about 15mm. I'll just check that. That will do it. So what I'm going to do is just put a little mark there in the middle of where the stone is, and I just want to scribe a line there to keep everything straight when I'm marking for the bale later. So just scribe a light line going through and we'll keep everything lined up with that. So I'll just put my blue tack on the metal there and place the stone and just check what length you got there. That might be a bit short. I'll just move it down. Longer is better if you're not sure, because you can just cut it back. Take it right to the end here. That should do it. That's around about 2mm there on the side there, so that's also lined up quite nicely. So I can mark in the bale and I know it's all going to be nice and straight. Now as I mark around the stone I'm just tucking the scribe inside, so it's slightly angled like that, so I'll make sure that the scribe line that I'm doing will give me a slightly smaller cushion shape than the stone. If it's the same size it might drop through the setting, so make sure you do mark it so that it's just a wee bit smaller. How I'm going to shape the bale, so you can do any shape you like. I'm just going to do a nice rounded traditional bale. That'll go like that, and then this will be cut out. It's going to be about 1.5 mm wide, something like that. You can go wider if you want. So first of all I'll just put a little divot inside the corner with a small ball bearer and with a small drill. This is a 0.9. You can use anything between a 0.7 and a 1.2. Cut inside the line. Okay, it's not quite the right shape, but I'll just show you how the stone sits onto it. You can see the girdle of the stone is quite high yet, so we want to drop that in, and to do that we're going to use a combination of needle files. So I've got a half round needle file. I'll just work on the sides, try and get them exactly the right shape so you can keep testing the stone, and you still got your scribe line there to work with. That's how it's sitting now, and I can just see from looking at underneath that it's catching on the long sides a little bit more, so I'll just concentrate on the long sides. I'll set my dividers to 2mm and Now I can mark around the opening. Just stay slightly outside the marking so that we can file up to it. And because this is 1.2mm thick, we can just file a slight step down for the back of the bale. I'll just step, help to keep it steady. So an ideal burr for something like this is a tapered burr that matches the size of the wire that you're using. I'm going to use 1mm wire for the claws, and that's plenty. You can use a little bit thinner, but you can also use to cut the groove in. You can use a drill of the same size. So this is a 1mm drill. Get the drill going quite fast and use the bottom part of the twist there. If you use the top, it might bend and break the drill. So you need to keep your hands steady. You need good skills for drilling and burring. Connect your work and the drill via your bench peg like that. It'll keep everything steady. So if you freehand like that, you'll find it will just move off the groove and cause damage to the setting and possibly damage to yourself. So get lots of practice doing this. Now I do lots of tests for drilling and burring, so just put drilling in the search bar and do a little bit of practice. So this is a tapered burr, and although the packet said 1.2, it actually measures 1mm right at the base there, so the pointy bit is thinner. So just bear that in mind, always measure your burrs first. So what we can do is just run the burr from the point down, and then we know that the groove is going to be the right shape for the wire that we're putting in there. And you'll find that using this burr, it will behave itself a lot better. The drill could bounce around a lot. I'll use my round nose pliers to bend the back of the bale into place. Get a sharper bend at the top. It's a lot easier to manoeuvre around and just place as you go. So if you can just heat up your work, get it up to temperature. So just as you see the colour change, then apply the ball of solder. So if you're new to soldering, this might be a little bit tricky because you've got a solder joint just above the one that we're going to do now, and if you're not familiar with the temperature change and just watching when the solder will run, if you overheat it, the first one might drop off. So to balance the claw in place, just let it settle in as the flux dries out. Pick up the solder, bring it up to temperature. And not forgetting that the claw is the smaller component, so if you put your flame directly on the claw, it could melt. Right, cut off the bottom of the claws. Now just clean up around the back of the bale as well, ready for polish. And We'll see if that's enough in a minute. I'll go around and put that groove in to the other claws. Now the metal under that cut is possibly going to get in the way of the stone sitting in the setting properly, so let's just have a look, see where we're at first. I need to cut a little bit more, and I will stroke the bird down to get rid of that lump there as well. So now it's settled right into the frame as it did earlier, and it's quite firmly in there, it's not twisting around, so I'm quite happy with that. All the claws are in contact with the girdle, so that makes things a bit easier for the next stage, which is just pushing the claws up and locking the stone in. So make sure it is level, and then you can just use the side of your pliers and just push the claws so that they're straight like that. At this stage, just make sure that it is perfectly placed in the setting. If it's not, you might need to just pull the stone out, so just pull the claws back a little bit and then just do further cut work to twist it into the right, get the right line. So I think this just needs to twist over a little bit that way. Let's see if I can get any. No, I just need to cut a little bit more, so I'll just push two claws out of the way and lift it out. It was only minimally out, but it's enough to annoy me, and it's really worth to take your time at this stage and get it lined up perfectly. You can tell straight away that that looks better, so that's now ready to be pushed back in. And the stone is really firmly in place now, so it's not going to need much to finish off. What I'll do is I'll just cut the claws right down, so I'm leaving around about 1 millimetre on the crown of the stone, as you can see. Go all the way around, do all 4. You can file them down a little bit because they're pretty proud, but be really careful if you file the wrong way. If your file is very grippy and you file that way, you could bend the claw back out. You also really don't want to make contact with the stone. So I'll just trim them down a little bit. Now this is my flat file with the safety edge rubbing against my thumb, so I'm not wearing my thumb out. And I think that will now look better. It's not so high, it's less likely to catch on clothing. I'm trying not to contact the stone, but sometimes it can't be helped. And there we have it, set, polished and finished, and I think that looks really pretty. Not that difficult to make either. Hope you enjoyed.